This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? You are locked in with Fourth and Frames when tonight we are giving you a must-bust and value-based player based on their ADP for every team in the NFC West with the man, the myth, the legend, a staff writer of Footballguys, a writer and content creator at Oddschecker, the ring bearer of Raider Nation, Ashton Genty Stan, Scott Fishbowl 15 arch nemesis, Tipp Major, my guy. Talk to him. How you doing, man?
Man, what's up, fellas? Man, I'm here to talk ball. I'm excited. We are here, people, to frame your fantasy teams. That's what Fantasy and Frames is about, right? So we're here to frame it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this NFC West division, and we're going to break it down for you the only way that we can. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait. And let's go, man. Let's do it. But wait. Before we do it, you know, I do a show with my guy Natter, right? My guy Natter, we do a show. We're supposed to do it every Wednesday. I got stuck at work, so I wasn't able to do it this Wednesday. But Natter always makes fun of my glass of choice. This is a glass that my wife has chosen. It's a curved glass, if you can see. What do you guys think? Do you think I should put the glass away, or should I continue with the curved glass because I just think it's elegant?
I think you embrace it. I just roll with it. Yeah.
Just roll.
Just embrace it and roll with it.
And now with Natter, every time, guys, you got to check out Level Up Fantasy Football. Every time I drink now, as pinkies up, Natter.
I like it.
I got you.
Yeah. And while we're here with Tipp tonight, we're talking about the NFC West. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and review anytime a new podcast or short drops from us here at Fantasy and Frames. Search for all of our podcasts at Fantasy and Frames by name wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes. Is it still iTunes or is it Apple Music? I don't know, but you know what? Wherever you get your fix, lock in with us. Look for us by name, and you could also look for that Fourth and Frames podcast by name. And then at fantasyandframes.com, the latest and greatest for weekly rankings, IDP Dynasty articles, takes, news and notes, whatever it is, we got you fixed up. So, Tipp, you kind of introduced yourself, but man, before we get started, I just want to tell my favorite Tipp Major story. So, let's walk it back to last month at the Scott Fish Bowl. Let's talk about round 5 where we were both looking for a quarterback. Walk us through the moment when I took Patrick Mahomes right out of your grasp.
I don't know if you guys can cuss on this show, but I'm not going to do it just because I don't know. But I can go ahead and do it.
Yes, you can.
I was fucking pissed off. I'm not going to even lie. Like straight up, like when I saw, because I already had the plan. I was like, okay, this is the round that I go ahead and get my quarterback because it's a 2-quarterback league, and I hadn't got a quarterback yet. And so I was like, okay, this is the round because they're so deep. I was like, Tipp, you can get Kyler Murray and you can get Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God, like that in fantasy football quarterback world, that is a 1-2 combo for your ass. So I was just I was really just like I was like waiting and I was salivating, and the pick got closer to me, and Patrick Mahomes was still there. And this dude, and I would say something worse but I got enough respect for you. This dude right here went and got Patrick Mahomes, and I damn near threw the table. I almost lifted the table and threw everybody. Tara Roberts was right there. I was livid. I walked away from the table pissed off. One of the other drafters in the other table said, "Is everything okay?" I said,
"No."
I said, "No, it's not."
True.
I said, wait, what happened? Oh, wait, what happened?
No, dude, you hit it so well whenever you got back to the table. I didn't realize any of this had happened at all.
By the time I got back to the table, it was kind of not forgotten, but I was like, okay, I got to keep moving on with this draft, and I got a couple picks to make. So I was like, all right, I'm getting Kyler Murray, and then I think I ended up getting I don't remember, but later on down the road, I think I got I think it was Dak Prescott, I believe. I got to go back and look at it.
Here's the thing, though, is that me and him, it just went to show that's when I knew he and I were wired alike because I was the same way. I was like, oh, I can just wait on quarterback.
Right.
And then Mahomes is sparkling, and I'm like, oh, we're there. And then it happens. Then I went Mahomes and Caleb back-to-back at 5 and 6, and I was just like, so Tip, I'm sorry I upset you, really and truly, but that's what I knew. We were kind of fantasy football kindred spirits.
That's funny, man. Yeah, that was crazy.
No harm, no foul. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry, and I still love you, man.
All good, bro.
All right, let's get into some news and notes real quick. Isaiah likely will have surgery on a broken bone in his foot and will miss 6 weeks. Officially in doubt for week 1. Tipp, let's start with you. Does this make you feel more confident starting the year with Mark Andrews as a tight end one? You have him.
Yeah, I think you have to, just because based off the chemistry that him and Lamar Jackson have. Yeah, likely was going to eat into it. I think even DeAndre Hopkins, you got to think of him as well in the red zone. And they don't shy away from Bateman. Bateman's a big receiver, so they don't shy away from him either in the red zone. So I think Mark Andrews should be the number one guy, that Lamar Jackson's looking for in the red zone. I think that this is going to only help Lamar Jackson and help Mark Andrews. So, yeah, I say do it, man. I think that this is – last year we had a situation where people were wanting to drop Mark Andrews after week 3. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think they're going to be happy with the production that he provides.
Fair enough. And then Keenan Allen, death taxes, and Keenan Allen is looking like he's going to retire. Los Angeles Charger, 1 year, $8.52 million. Kyle, is he on your draft radar? And does this make you worry in any way, shape, or form about Ladd McConkey?
Yeah, I don't mind taking a shot at him. He's still got some juice. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to crumble up his bad stats from last year with the Bears, like his 1.5 yards per route ran, just throw it in the trash can, because Matt Eberflus and that coaching staff never really gave that whole offense a chance at all. They didn't. I mean, you even saw Caleb Williams come out and say that, like, they never even taught him how to analyze film. So there was never really set them up for success at all. And from all reports, Keenan Allen, he looks good in the workout that they had with the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh wouldn't have given that contract if he didn't. The only question that I have is with Ladd McConkey is they're both predominantly slot receivers. They both do well out of the slot. How that's going to work, I don't know, but it's a nice problem to have. Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, they'll figure it out. They're both kind of like chess pieces anyway. You can move them around, so they'll figure it out.
Dude, I'm just going to tell you this right now. One of my least favorite misconceptions is that Ladd McConkey is just a slot guy. Like, he can win on the outside. He's got the speed to do so. We saw him get downfield last year a lot of times. Like, I'd love the fit personally. I think with Trey Harris there, I think he provides that outside threat as well too. And I think what you can probably see is Ladd work a little bit less in the slot. Maybe him and Keenan Allen kind of keep things fresh and interesting and flip back and forth in the slot. But it's a great football fit. I'll tell you that, because, I mean, it just makes them a better team immediately. Drew, let's head to you with Addison. Jordan Addison has been suspended for the first 3 games of the 2025 season. I know you're smart enough to probably already have had that baked into your rankings with him, huh? And if not, how far did you drop him after this news came out?
I was already, I think, lower than consensus anyway, so I didn't move him much. And it wasn't even really necessarily the suspension that I was as concerned about. It was more so just, obviously, Justin Jefferson's going to be in front of him. You've got TJ Hawkinson there as well. There's a mix of Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in the run game, and you've got essentially a rookie quarterback. I know he's not technically a rookie, but essentially a rookie quarterback. And so I was already kind of lower on him. So I've still got him I've got him at wide receiver 39. He's in the territory with your boy Jacoby Myers and Jerry Jeudy and Stephon Diggs and guys like that. So I've still got him down in that same territory. But I think that the guy that I gave, just Jefferson already, like, he's Justin Jefferson. Like, it doesn't really move the needle for him. He was going to get his regardless if Addison was there or not. But the guy that I think gets an instant boost is TJ Hawkinson. It was already kind of a question mark of who's going to be the number 2 option in that passing offense between Addison and Hawkinson. So now Hawkinson gets to kind of hit the ground running, and so I might be a little bit more comfortable to take him at his ADP. Whereas before this news, I was more so fading him just because of the question marks of will he be the number 2 option or not. So I'm a little bit more interested in Hawkinson now.
Yeah, fair enough. Because I mean, you're just sitting there, and I know that TJ Hockenson probably doesn't have that downfield juice that he used to have, but at the end of the day, he becomes that clear-cut number 2 option for at least the first month of the season, and that's a big place to get everything started. So,
no, Steve, you hadn't missed it yet. We're just going over some news and notes real quick.
Hey, Steve, we got to talk about some news and notes, man. Calm down, brother. No,
lastly, I can tell Drew wrote this show sheet because these last 2 pieces are Rams related. Matt Stafford with the epidural. He's listed as week to week. Let's quickly go around the frames. Are any of you moving Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams down in your rankings based off of what happened over here? Start with you, Tipp.
No. And as long as, I mean, look, okay, he doesn't need to be on the field right now, guys. He needs to be resting. Yep. He needs to be stretching. He needs to be getting epidurals, whatever. He needs to be doing all of that, getting all the treatment he can for the start of the season. I don't care if he doesn't practice a down because I know that he already has a chemistry with Puka Nacua. And I know that they're going to have some chemistry with Devontae Adams, but I feel like they're still going to be able to get that inside the building and even on the practice field. I just don't need to see him playing in any preseason games. I don't need to see him always on the field. I need to see him getting his back treated. I need to make sure that week 1 comes around, that his back is as good as it's going to be. The chemistry part of it with Devontae Adams will come because they're both cerebral veteran players. So that will come, and Devontae Adams still is a game wrecker when it comes to running routes. So I think that it's going to be fine. I think right now you keep them where you have them. I'm moving Devontae Adams up a little bit. I'm moving Puka Nacua up a little bit. But I think that this is something that I'm not panicking just yet. If this was August 27th,
right,
then I would be like, okay, what's going on? But this is the set. What is it? The 6th, the 7th? What is it? I don't even know. Whatever day it is, and it's like, okay, we're still okay to chill right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody good with that? We good with that take?
Yep, completely agree.
And then lastly, before we get into the divisional preview, Kyron Williams is getting the bag, expected to sign a 3-year, $33 million extension with $23 million guaranteed. We'll get into this a little bit more later with the Rams, who we're going to talk about right after we drop. And shout out to our good friends at Trophy Smack. Get your trophies, whatever you need, your titles, the end of the year, your bragging rights at Trophy Smack with Fantasy and Frames 10. Getting you a 10% discount code off of anything they have. Belts, rings, trophies, you name it, they've got it. All you got to do is get to TrophySmack.com. Use that promo code Fantasy and Frames 10. Watch yourself save some money. Watch yourself hook up your league. Watch yourself be the man in your league throughout the year. And then get yourself a great piece of championship memorabilia, bragging rights, an heirloom, if you will, for your league. That's over at TrophySmack.com. Promo code Fantasy and Frames 10. So, boys, let's get into the NFC West. Let's talk those must-bust and values, which, as we always do, we're basing off of the Fantasy Pros expert consensus rankings for half PPR. And we're going to start – where else will we start, Drew? Where else would we go? My man is licking his chops because it's Ram season.
I always order these teams based on how they finished last year's standing. So this isn't a Rams bias where I'm a Rams fan, so I'll put the Rams on the top of the show sheet. I cannot help it that we're the best team in the West and won the NFC West last year. That's not my fault. Okay, so it's not all me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, but Drew,
you wait, Drew, do you know Laquan Jones?
I know of him through Twitter.
I would not want to see you two in the room together.
Oh man,
he'd be rammed out, man. I'll be ready to slap somebody.
I'd love to get to talk ball with LQ, man. I might have to hit him up and try to get him on the show too.
No, he's awesome, man.
Drew, you know what is your fault? The fact that you hooked yourself up with the must-draft player for the Rams. I don't think that was an accident, and I knew exactly where you were going before we even got here. So go ahead and talk through your boy, our boy, the long-haired wonder, the man himself, Puka Nacua, the ECR wide receiver 4.
Yeah, man. If I have an opportunity just sitting in front of me to get to gush about Puka Nacua, I'm not going to just not take it. That would be crazy. So now I'm operating under the assumption that Stafford will be fine going into the season. And thankfully, we do still have another few weeks before redraft season really gets heavy. So we still got time to fill the injury situation out. But if anything, I would imagine this whole deal with Stafford will just end up pushing Puka down in people's rankings and down in ADP, which is just going to make it that much easier for me to draft and that much harder for me to want to pass up on him if he does fall past wide receiver 4. And Puka, he has his own injury issues too, but when he's been out there on the field, he was the wide receiver 7 in points per game his rookie year, went up to wide receiver 5 in points per game last year. That sounds like a positive trajectory that I want to be in on. I want to be a part of that. And don't get me wrong, if Puka does end up going from Stafford to Jimmy G, that will hurt his production, because part of why Puka is as high as he is in the ECR is because he is attached to Matthew Stafford and he's catching passes from him. But let's not forget that the other part of that is because he's been producing like an elite receiver on a per touch basis and a per target basis as well. Last year, if you look at, there were 50 pass catchers that had at least 85 targets last year. He was first in targets per route run. He was first in yards per route run, first in first downs per route run, fifth in yards after the catch per reception, second in yards after contact per reception, ninth in missed tackles forced per reception. Like, do I need to keep going? Like, the one downside is that he hasn't been as productive in the touchdown department. But to me, that just makes me a little bit less nervous of if a potential quarterback downgrade were to happen, because his value is more so tied to his ability to earn targets and then what he's able to do once he gets the ball in his hands with yards after the contact and yards after the catch. And so it's less dependent on, I need to have this top tier quarterback play so that we can get into the red zone frequently and I can get these end zone targets and I can connect on those. Now that would be a great addition to his fantasy value and only up his ceiling. But if he does have to play a few games with Jimmy G, I feel good about Sean McVay still scheming Puka plenty of touches and getting the ball in his hands and letting him create. And so I believe Stafford will be out there, but regardless, I'm choosing to believe in the elite talent that is Puka, which he has shown himself to be over the first 2 years of his career. We'll see how much it changes between now and the end of the month, but ECR still has Puka as the wide receiver 4. He's still my wide receiver 4, and he's still a must draft for me.
Now, Tipp, I want to bounce something off of you real quick about this Matthew Stafford situation that everyone – it's the big buzz right now with the Rams. Like, I came out of a draft Sunday night with Puka, and people were like, yeah, but Stafford. And he's like, I got people good. Yeah, look it up. Google Stafford and see what's going on right now. And I'm like, personally, I'm like, I still don't care myself. But I personally have a belief that there's always a significant drop-off between quarterback and quarter QB1 and QB2 on depth charts, obviously in most cases. Where do you stand on even a guy experienced like Jimmy G being more likely to lock in on one of those two guys, be it Puka or Tay? He's going to end up choosing one, in my opinion. So is that a dangerous game we'd be playing?
So Rhett, let me make sure I understand what you're asking. You're asking me, if Jimmy G is on the field, how am I going to treat these two wide receivers?
Yes, that's
the only confidence I have, if that is the situation, is that Sean McVay is going to run the hell out of the ball. I don't think that he's going to trust Jimmy G to sling the ball around the field like he would with Matthew Stafford. Yeah, he knows what he has in Jimmy G. He knows that he is a game manager of all game managers, and he has a weak arm. And like he knows this. He just has him on the shelf because he's younger than Matthew Stafford. He's gotten to a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's got some veteran leadership and presence. And he's Hollywood. He fits the part in Hollywood. So it's just, I think that if that's the situation though, for me, I'm gonna be panicking if I'm a Devontae Adams owner, if I'm a Puka Nacua owner. I'm panicking. Now I'm happy if I'm a Jacquez Hunter, Blake Corum, or Kyron Williams, because they're gonna run the ball so much. They're gonna understand that look, they can't give the ball to Kyron Williams so much. One of those two guys is going to benefit from getting some touches. So that's the only thing.
Perfect segue to go to Kyle, who he's got a bust on the board, and you just mentioned him, Tipp. Kyle, I need to know. We've done this 2 years in a row with Kyren Williams now, where we're like, oh, don't draft him. He's being drafted too high. And yet each of these last 2 years, he's come out, he's been efficient, he's produced at a high level. So I guess the question I need to ask is, with a 2-year track record, why now?
Well, you can ask Drew. I battled this. This was really tough for me, especially after the contract he just got. I did not like to do it, but I had to do it. I had to do it. This wasn't easy for me. I like the player. I love him. I mean, I got him right there, consensus, RB 11. He's ECR is RB 12. I got him at 11. But if you're making me choose, he could make me look silly with this, but I'm going to go with Kyren Williams. I mean, are we drafting Kyren Williams, though, in the second round of drafts because of the carries that he had last year, the 316 rushing attempts and the insane 86% snap share? I just don't know if we're going to see that usage again next year. He only averaged 4.1 yards per attempt on those carries. He didn't really blow us away on a per touch basis. He wasn't exactly explosive either. We know that. He ranked near the bottom of among qualifying backs in percentage of carries that went for 15 yards or more. And it's funny, Tipp, you brought up Laquan Jones. I actually was going to shout him out from NFL Network at NFL Fantasy, because he tweeted out an interview with Sean McVay. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was talking about how he was impressed with Liam Cohen and how he ran the offense in Tampa, having different personnel groupings and envisions with more versatility in his Rams offense, okay? And if you remember, the two were together in L.A. a few years ago. Cohen was the OC during that Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson tandem. So if Sean McVay does kind of readopt Cohen's style of offense, he'll use two backs. Yep. I know that McVay has always, since the Todd Gurley days, loves a running back and uses the hell out of him. But in this case, it actually would make a little sense, because in 2023, Kyren was more efficient on less work, where he averaged 5 yards a carry. And it can help him keep him fresh, hopefully prevent an injury that's plagued him in the past. And, just to reiterate, I love Kyren Williams. I don't even mind drafting him at his current price. But again, if you make me choose a bust candidate, that's who I'm going to choose, and that's why. And it's fair to say that maybe I'm overanalyzing this a little bit, and they're going to run the hell out of him like they have, and they're not going to use Jarquez Hunter, who they drafted. They're not going to use Blake Corum, they drafted 2 years ago. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do think that he's a bust candidate because of that. They didn't draft those two young kids and just sit behind Kyren Williams forever.
Yeah, and one real quick point, Terrence Ferguson is going to be a beast on this team. Like, I don't think people are talking enough about him. They started talking about him, and then they kind of went away, and then they kind of start. Sean McVay wanted him. Sean McVay has talked about him. Sean talks about him glowingly. Like, this kid is going to be something. So he's going to also possibly take passes or catches away from Kyren Williams, because you rely on Kyren Williams to run the ball. I mean, maybe not as efficiently, but you also rely on him to catch passes. So if they got a tight end that they can trust, I understand Higbee's there, but if they got a tight end they can trust, another tight end they can trust, that could also take away some of those short opportunities from Kyren Williams as far as catching.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a solid case that you made, Kyle. I'm not even gonna lie to you. At first, I was like,
great.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy though.
Sometimes in fantasy, that's what you have to be true to what you're, and you were true to it, because you like Kyren Williams, but you also can see the potential. It's objectivity. You can see both sides. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So, Tipp, go ahead and give us your value for the Rams, because you seem like you were in pretty good lockstep with Kyle on this and with Puka. So I got to know where you're going with your value, because, frankly, it's a surprise on the show sheet. So we don't know what's coming. So hit us with it, man.
Do you know who this is right here?
Have
you guys seen this video? Do you know what those eyes are directed towards?
Yep. That was the Devontae Adams introductory thing, right? So they have the team introduction of Devontae Adams, and somebody was really smart and got film of this. And Sean McVay was talking about Devontae Adams, talking about all his accolades, talking about how great he is, showing video and film from his years in Green Bay and the New York Jets. He's showing all of this in the Raiders. He's showing all of this video.
And Matthew Stafford, the guy, the cameraman, brilliantly saw Matthew Stafford look with the side eye like this, guys. And he was looking as if, oh my God, we have just unlocked a new toy in this offense. So I'm not worried about the guy's back because he is wanting to get on the field as bad as he can to play with this duo. And so it's Davante Adams, guys. Look, last year, he hasn't skipped a beat. Yes, he may have lost 1 or 2 steps, maybe 1 step, because the guy is still running routes. I saw him throw. I saw Aaron Rodgers throw a sideline catch to him last season, and he tiptoed it, caught the ball in stride. Like, it was just beautiful. And Davante Adams still has it. I'm a Raiders fan. I saw it when he was with the Raiders, when he was trying to work with Aiden O'Connell, all of those situations. And we saw it last year when he got with the Jets. And we're going to see it again with Matthew Stafford. There's no way that look is going to stop him. That back's not going to stop him from trying to complete passes to Davante Adams. So it's
you call it a side eye. What I saw was hard eyes. That's what I saw the entire. Like, my man fell in love. It was love at first sight. The second week, crazy.
Like, he was. It was almost to say, "Oh, they gonna let us. They really let us get him. Like, they gonna let this. They gonna let us do this to him." Wow.
And before we get into Seattle, just on a real football note, I mean, it seems like, and Drew, you can probably speak better to this, but it seems like once every few years, the Rams just decide that they're going to go all in for a Super Bowl, picks be damned, whatever, because I've long believed they've had the best late round drafting staff and scouting department in the league, and they always seem to fill out a roster. But guys like Kobe Turner and Ernest, like whoever it is, they find these dudes. It just seems like we're in another one of those windows where they're just going all in.
I certainly hope you're right, man. I'd love to see another Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, the Rams organization is in such a great spot because the scouting team, the front office, they do a great job of hitting on those day 3 picks. And whenever you've got that many guys under team control with affordable rookie contracts, it allows you to get really creative. And so it's definitely it's a great strategy while it's working, but you start missing on some of them late round picks and you don't have early picks to be able to try to, substitute that with. It can get ugly quick, but thankfully the Rams haven't really had to hit that low yet. And hopefully that's still a ways away.
Yeah. But let's get up the coast. Let's go to Seattle. And Tipp, you are in charge of talking about our must draft player for the Seahawks. Hit us with it, bud. Who you got?
Yeah, and this is a tough one because I think there's multiple players that are must draft players. But I'm gonna say this: if you are the Kenneth Walker manager, you must draft Zach Charbonnet. Like like that is the key to this to being successful with this team, because you got Clint Kubiak over there now. He's going to want to run the ball. You've got Rick Dennison over there, and if you look at Rick Dennison's track record, he usually runs the ball, has a high propensity to run the ball. So there's going to be more rushing attempts this year for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm thinking closer to that 30, and they want 30 rushing attempts a game. And they're going to want to keep Kenneth Walker as fresh as possible because we've seen how explosive and how awesome he is once he's healthy. So I think it's going to be a situation where even if you don't have Kenneth Walker, you want to block that player from getting Zach Charbonnet, then go out there and do that, because Zach Charbonnet can be a flex player starting week 1, because I think it's going to be a really, really close split between those two players this season.
I mean, Kenneth Walker, I love, but I just can't. I see a path for Zach Charbonnet, 100%. But guys, in our bust and value players, Drew and Kyle, I don't know if y'all planned this behind my back. I don't know what's going on here, but it just seems like you guys opened the door wide open
for another one
for our boy Tipp to participate and get in on a little thing we like to call master debation. So here's the deal, Tipp. Normally we have a topic where we like to debate. It could be a player, it could be an idea, whatever it is.
Okay.
And we used to have a big intro, but basically we like to call it's night court. These guys are going to argue one against Cooper Kupp, one for Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
And then you're going to make the ultimate decision as to whose argument you prefer and whose side you're going to take. So with that said, Drew, you've been around here longer. I'm going to give you the floor first, and I'm also going to be courteous to Kyle because the history of masturbation is recency bias. So we're going to give Kyle a fighting chance tonight. So go ahead, Drew. Tell us why you're out on Cooper Kupp here in 2025 as your bust.
Look, I'll start by saying that this is one call that I would be completely fine with getting wrong. I love Cooper Kupp so much, and I want to see him succeed, even if it's in a Seahawks uniform.
No, you don't.
I do. I really do. I swear. I want the Seahawks to lose every game, but he can go for 10 and 150 every week, though. That would be cool, as long as they still lose. But when I look at the fantasy relevant players for Seattle, Sam Darnold, Elijah Arroyo, neither one of them are really getting drafted to begin with, so I'm not going to call them a bust. And I like where Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and JSN are all going in their ranking. Yeah. I think that they have a fair ranking. So that leaves Cooper Kupp. He has an ECR of wide receiver 46. I've got him down at wide receiver 50. So even though it's not a huge gap, by definition, he would be a bust candidate for me from the Seahawks. Yeah, playing masturbation with just a tip is crazy, but I'm not in the camp that thinks that Cooper Kupp is completely washed or anything like that. He can still earn targets at an elite level. He was 5th among receivers in targets per route run, but it also remains to be seen if the chemistry will be there with Darnold at or close to the same level that it was with Stafford. And some of his other metrics outside of the targets per route run just didn't look as promising. If you break it down, the 50 receivers that had at least 85 targets last year, Kupp was 24th in yards per route run. He was 38th in first downs per route run. He was 40th in yards per target, 29th in yards after the catch per reception, and 44th in yards after contact per reception. And then to break that down even further with the lower first downs per route run number, Ryan Heath over at Fantasy Points, who you should be following if you're on already at Ryan J_Heath. He's a great follower, wealth of knowledge, but he put out an interesting stat nugget that since 2010, 68% of elite wide receivers age 28 or older fell below the 0.10 first down per route run, but still averaged at least 14 fantasy points per game. So not extremely efficient, but they had the volume to still get at least over 14 fantasy points per game. The following year, they ended up crashing well below the 14 points per game in the following season. And I think JSN is going to be the clear number one for the Seahawks, and I would expect Cooper Kupp to be the number 2 option, but going into his age 32 season, is it really going to be that shocking if he's not the guy we've become accustomed to, and rookies like Elijah Arroyo or Torrey Horton start to come on down the stretch? And I'm just not sure how valuable the number 2 option in Seattle is going to be for fantasy anyway, whenever you look at what I consider to be a downgrade going from Geno to Sam Darnold. And I think they're going to want to run the ball plenty with Walker and Charbonnet as well. So basically, to me, Cooper Kupp feels like a possible safe floor pick without much upside. And he's going in a portion of the draft where I'm usually shooting for upside with some like guys that I have ahead of him that are behind him in the ECR, rookie receivers like Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins. Those are the type of guys I'm usually taking shots on in that range. And so I'll just to finish this up, I'm gonna give you guys a little blast from the past, and I'm gonna give you a reminder of my co-host Kyle's reaction whenever Cooper Kupp signed with the Seattle Seahawks during our free agency reaction to close out.
But I don't view him anymore as like that wide receiver 2 or 3. He's more of a bench player for me if I were to even select him.
And with that being the case, I don't want just some bench player to sit on my bench. I want somebody that has more upside in that range. And so it doesn't make me happy to say it, but based on his ECR, Cooper Kupp.
Is this timer up now? Is this timer up now?
I don't know. The man bar
is this a political debate? All right, look. You know what I said back then, Drew, is still true. I think this is an opportunity to take advantage of him at wide receiver 46. He doesn't have to go that far to outperform that average draft position. He's not a wide receiver 2, but you're getting him less than a wide receiver 3. He only needs to be a wide receiver 3 to beat that. Let's lift this hood up on this 1967 Mustang, a.k.a. Cooper Kupp, all right? Let's take a look under the frame from week 7 to week 18 post-ankle injury. And despite everything last year, still maintained a solid 2.1 yards per route run. He held down a 27.3% first read share. And in comparison to the Minnesota Vikings with Jordan Addison and Sam Darnold, He had a 22% share. Okay. If it's not an injury concern, then maybe it's a fit in Seattle with JSN concern, because they are both kind of labeled as slot receiver. It's a fair concern because JSN led all receivers out of the slot at 83.9%. But Kupp is very familiar with the outside. Last year, he lined up out wide 35% of the time. And in 2023, it was actually more. It was 40%. So it's not a major adjustment for Kupp to have to work from the outside if it does go up to 50 or 60%. And last thing, yes, Drew, you mentioned it. He goes from Matthew Stafford to Sam Darnold, a bit of a downgrade there. But Darnold is far removed. He's far removed from the Jets-Panthers days, Sam Darnold. He has shown improvement, in particular of taking care of the football, where he only threw 12 interceptions last year. So he's now starting to spot the ghosts, okay? And I do think that if he could stay healthy, he's got a real shot to deliver wide receiver 3 numbers and give you some serious bang for your buck, especially in that 9th or 10th round on the bench, like I said. But it's definitely a name to keep your eye on.
And two things. I first of all, I agree with you, Kyle. I think that Drew, yours was great. It was good.
Good analogy.
Good analogies. Everything was great on it. But I just agree with what Kyle was saying. And the other thing too is you got a lot of people I don't think are really talking enough about Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak working in San Francisco together, and bringing possibly some of the concepts over from there where Sam Darnold could be familiar with it, or a little bit more familiar with them, and just learning a completely new offense. And again, guys, I think they're going to run the ball so much that they're going to be able to utilize the play action. And that's something Cooper Kupp can both Cooper Kupp, JSN can get with as well. So I think that, this offense is going to be a lot better than what people are thinking. I'm really high on this offense. I'm not saying it's going to be a top 5 offense but I could see a top 12 to 13 type offense, just kind of sneaking up on us. And I think it's going to be a consistent offense because of what it can deliver.
Love it on both sides. And I mean, I just love that we're all just coming in. These guys are just prepared. Let's bring that preparation over to Arizona. And Kyle, dude, I've been banging this drum all off season. Camp video has me a little bit concerned right now, but I always like to bank on talented kids taking year 2 leaps. God, I sound old just calling Marvin Harrison Jr. a kid. But tell us why at ECR wide receiver 19, you're all in on Marvin Harrison this year.
Well, yeah, it was between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride here, but I ended up choosing Marvin Harrison Jr. because I feel like you don't have to get McBride since he's a tight end, and a damn good one. But I just feel like it's a premium pick to spend on McBride at a onesie position where 7 or 8 other of your league mates, they're going to be weak at the position as well. So it's okay. Getting Harrison Jr. now at wide receiver 19 in the 4th round, to me, is a smash pick. Last year, he was a little bit hyped up as a rookie. Now he's kind of in a sweet spot after finishing wide receiver 29 last year. And he had a very solid season if you look at it. I mean, and his numbers. Have you guys seen his numbers compared to his dad, Marvin Harrison? They're eerily similar, right?
Right.
It's really spooky. But there is a lot to like here. Like his 17 end zone targets that he had over McBride's 9, and he caught 7 touchdowns on those opportunities. Who doesn't love a wide receiver who can stretch the field and hit you with a haymaker either, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. came into the league swinging with a 14.1 ADOT as a rookie, showing big play potential. He offers a nice ceiling as well at that average draft position. He should be able to improve on that production from last year. And I do think it's wheels up for Marvin Harrison Jr. at wide receiver 19.
And I agree with you, except for the one thing on the tight end position. It is so thin that whenever you get what I like to call an infinity stone player in that situation, and you can get such a positional advantage. Trey McBride gets you 100 catches.
But then you take a hit on a receiver the following round.
He plays like another receiver. It's 100 catches. You get a positional advantage right there. It's almost like a wide receiver too in that regard.
But you got 7 or 8 other guys that are going to be weak as well. Why not take a shot later on and you might hit on that tight end to compare with a Marvin Harrison Jr. or whatever you draft at that spot.
Okay, in all likelihood, you're more likely to hit on a receiver you're going to take later than another tight end.
But you take Trey McBride, Rhett. You take Trey McBride, but then you're going to get a wide receiver 35 on the way back.
I'm gonna tell you guys this right here, okay?
Not really.
Right now, looking at Fantasy Pros, you got Trey McBride. He's the number 22 ranked player taken. Behind him, you have Lad McConkey, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams. I'm not gonna name the quarterbacks. T. Higgins, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyreek Hill, George Kittle. I'm sorry, Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Devontae Adams. I'll take all 9 of those players over Trey McBride.
Fair, and that's fair. Like
I don't believe in a tight end who's scored 6 touchdowns in 3 years. Like that. I get the 100 catches. I love the 100 catches.
Yeah.
But I can get one of those guys. Hell, Jackson Smith-Njigba can give me 100 catches. He did it last year. Like I can get that from that guy and Jackson Smith-Njigba. He may not be a touchdown machine, but he's gonna score more than 2 that Trey McBride's been averaging the last couple of years. Yeah, he may get 4. Yeah, he may get 5, but they don't look to him in the red zone, and that's one reason why I would wait on him. And I would go at a guy like Jake Ferguson, who they utilize in the red zone. Look at his 2023 stats in the red zone. 5 of his touchdowns, 3 of them were in the 5-yard line. Like, come on, that tells me right there they look to him in the red zone. So, like, I'm looking at tight ends like that. I'm looking at Chigoziem and Conko way later down because you got a young quarterback looking for a tight end. So, like Trey McBride to me, guys, is such a big bust. And I'm sorry to just jump in. I just think for where you're getting him right now, I'm not gonna fall for it. Now Brock Bowers a different story.
Oh my God! Look, this is why we got this man on the show. Like for no other reason that like the man knows ball unequivocally, 1,000%. Tip, I love it, dude. Like the conviction, the passion, the knowledge you just came with, dude. It's incredible. We're happy to have you. But
you know what? Trey McBride could have 6 touchdowns this year, have 1,200 yards. And great, but I'm just going based off of what I've seen the last few years, and I want my tight end scoring touchdowns if I'm going to go with him that high.
And Aiden agrees with you on that as well, saying it's been a TD problem since Colorado State. So I mean, we might be at a point where I might update my rankings again tonight. We might have ourselves a Trey McBride problem. We'll see.
Why? Because the dude's 6'5", 250 pounds. Why? Like. What is it about the red zone that you're? I'm not gonna say he's afraid of, but what is it? But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to take over the show.
No, dude.
I started talking to Trey McBride, and I had to let it out.
All right, we know who one of Tip's guys isn't this year, but Drew, let's talk about a value because this is one of these death taxes. How's this dude still doing it, guys? James Conner, ECR running back 19, pushing that dreaded age 30 season. He might even be 30 this season, but the man just seems to get it done.
Yeah, at this point, I think we could rename the value segment to the James Conner segment because that's what he's been the last couple of years. In 2023, he was drafted as the running back 23. He finished as the running back 9 in points per game. Last year was drafted as the running back 19, finished as the running back 14. Now, fast forward to this year, once again, he's the running back 19. And don't get me wrong, I only have him one spot higher than that at running back 18, but it still feels like such a great value, and it feels like a guy that I could easily still be too low on at running back 18. And there's been some talk recently about Trey Benson getting more work this year, even from James Conner himself. But the coaching staff seems to be on a steady drumbeat of this is still James Conner's backfield, and anybody else is going to have to come in and earn some snaps to play alongside him. But so volume has played a part in Conner's success for sure, but he's also been efficient too. Among the 46 running backs that had at least 100 rushing attempts last year, he was 14th in yards per carry. He was 6th in explosive run percentage. He was 11th in yards after contact per attempt, and he was 2nd in missed tackles forced per attempt. So he's still breaking off explosive runs. He's still breaking tackles. Even even as a 30-year-old young man. And he also gets those high-value touches as well. He's got the 7th highest percentage of team carries inside the 5-yard line among running backs. So, whenever they get down there into the money areas, he's getting those touches. And he's a factor in the passing game as well. Among qualifying running backs last year, he was 6th in yards per route run, and he was 14th in first downs per route run. So he's a solid pass catcher. He's still running the ball efficiently. And so even if the touches do come down a little bit, I think that there's still plenty of room for him to outperform that ECR. That the big question mark with James Conner has always been health. Last year is the first time in his career he's played at least 16 games. But whenever it comes down to it, I'm not going to project that, so-and-so is going to get hurt this year and they're going to miss 4 games or they're going to miss 3 games. I'm just kind of assuming that if all things are equal, if everybody plays 17 games across the board, he's still been extremely productive when he is on the field, and I think that he's going to be, once again, a great value at this spot at running back 19.
It's a great argument, as usual, Drew. Before we get into the Niners, though, guys, I just want to ask ourselves one question to round off the Arizona Cardinals, and it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. Let's go around the frames and ask ourselves, around which week of the season this year in 2025 are we going to try to talk ourselves into Greg Dortch again?
Never. No,
you know I fuck Greg Dortch because he cost me a championship one year. I had him against the New England Patriots. I think it was 2 years ago against the New England Patriots. He scored nothing, no points on a Monday night, and I needed like 2 points.
Oh, you're thinking you got this thing wrapped?
Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go into Monday night and do
3 for 35. I'm in.
I don't need him to get right. I don't need him to do anything except get 2 catches. He didn't get not one damn touch. I was so mad, dude. Yeah, fuck Greg Dortch. I'm done with him.
We all have that guy that we're done with.
Yeah. Before we get to the Niners, I'm gonna ask you to not ever besmirch Timu Wandale Robinson like this ever again.
Timu Wandale Robinson.
Don't disrespect Wandale Robinson, man.
Let's get to the Niners. And Drew, when we had our tight end show, we had a little bit of a talk where I had Sam Laporta higher than George Kittle, and I've since changed course. I updated my rankings tonight. I've got Kittle back in tight end 3. Yeah. You have him as a must draft. That means that guys this high up the board, they usually have to be a slam dunk. They have to smash. They have to be in the realm of possibilities, almost a lock to outperform where they are, to feel like they are must draft players. So talk me through it, man. We know who George Kittle is. We know there's going to be a 1 for 8 week and then an 8 for 180 week. So talk me through it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you said you want, you want a slam dunk, you want a difference maker. How about the guy that was a tight end 1 in points per game last year? Would that do all right for you? So I mean, it really comes down to where George Kittle is going in drafts right now, and then how I view the tight end position just as a whole this year. I'm in line with Fantasy Pros ECR at tight end 3, and then I've got him as my 34th overall player, which I think is in line with ECR as well. I still have Bowers and McBride as my tight end 1 and 2. They're in tier 1 together. But my second tier is George Kittle all by himself. After that, I think that tight end 4 through like damn near tight end 10 is basically just one giant tier. And so if I don't get one of these top 3 tight ends that I would consider difference makers, I would rather just punt the position and wait till I get closer to the end of that 4th tier before I draft anybody. And the best part about Kittle is that he's the most affordable of these top 3 elite tight ends. Bowers is going in the middle of the 2nd round. Trey McBride, who's around the 2-3 turn. And with Kittle, you can get him around the 3-4 turn, sometimes even more toward the middle of the 4th round if you're drafting on Sleeper right now. And so I'm in on CMC this year. I consider picking him as the must draft for the 49ers too, but Kittle just feels like such a great value right now. And I'm not sure what to expect outside of CMC and Kittle for the rest of the playmakers in this offense. Like Juwan Jennings, he had a really solid year last year, but how much can you trust that whenever it took him 4 years to eclipse 500 receiving yards, and now he's requesting to be paid like he's been there and done that for a while. And so it's never good whenever you're missing out on camp with that. Ricky Pearsall, He has the draft capital. He looked good in a very small sample down the stretch last year, but again, that was a really small sample. And then who knows what we're going to get with Ayuk at this point. So the one constant in this passing offense has been George Kittle. And while there is chances of him, while the chances of him continuing to ascend at this point in his career, given the fact that, he's 32 years old, that might be slim. He also hasn't shown any signs of slowing down either. There were 31 tight ends with at least 50 targets last year. Among those 31 tight ends, he was first in yards per route run, ninth in targets per route run, first in yards per target, second in yards after the catch per reception, seventh in yards after contact per reception. And he had 8 red zone targets, which was 6th among tight ends as well. There was no signs that he was slowing down whatsoever. And so before I'm going to start to fade Kittle or think that he has hit the wall, I'm going to need to see some signs of slowing down first. And so considering the combination of how great George Kittle still is and where he's at with his ADP, he's a must draft for me.
And he's never off the field. He's a great blocker.
No, he's a great blocking tight end too.
So he's always on the field, man. And it's love George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. It's easy to draft Kittle at this point. It's easy to push a button because we've seen it for years and years, and he doesn't leave the field, and there's not really a second option in this offense. He might be the top option in the pass game. So, it's a great call. But, Kyle, somebody's got to get him the ball. And while Mr. Irrelevant himself has done a great job of being an NFL quarterback, I agree that ECR quarterback 11 starts to feel a little bit rich for what Brock Purdy is fantasy-wise. So talk through it.
I guess Drew put me in the doghouse, man, doing all these bust takes right here. I don't know what I did to Drew, but I saw the show. I'm like, damn, 3 out of 4 busts. Okay. Yeah, it's Brock Purdy for me at quarterback 11. It is rich. Let's run through this. Drew talked about it already. George Kittle, no problems. Cool. Yeah. But Deebo Samuel, Washington. Brandon Ayuk, recovering from an ACL, no timetable to return. Yikes. Jawan Jennings, calf injury, holdout. What is it? I don't know. But he's got some time to figure it out. Solid receiver, looks promising. Ricky Pearsall, I'm a fan, but we still don't really know what Ricky Pearsall is yet, although he has looked good in camp. I guess where I'm going with this, guys, is if your best receiver is Jawan Jennings, ranked wide receiver 39, why the hell is Brock Purdy a back-end QB1 when he finished QB 13 last year with better weapons? And I get CMC is allegedly fully healthy, and he's dynamic out of the backfield with George Kittle as well. I give you that. But to put Purdy ahead of other quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert.
Yes, preach.
Even Caleb Williams, in my opinion, gives you that rushing floor, that rushing upside as well. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. And I would rather draft those guys.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, who offers a bounce back opportunity as well, much later in the draft. I don't know what we're doing there.
That's egregious. They got CJ Stroud down to 19. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I respect that. Look, I love fantasy pros, but I'm not saying that their ranking is egregious. I just think that that's egregious that he's down there. That's crazy.
With what's going on in San Francisco. Yeah.
Right. And the value you can get with CJ Stroud. Yes, you're preaching, man. You're killing it.
Yeah.
So really quickly, talking about Christian McCaffrey, and we're going to get into the value in a little bit, but he's mentioned the health comes up. And I went to the injury history of Christian McCaffrey, and my man not only has a history of lower body injuries, but he tends to have all of his history of lower body injuries came on the same leg. A lot of ankle issues. There's been some knee stuff. There's the tendonitis stuff. And yeah, they say he's healthy, but how many times, whether it's been the NBA, the NFL, whatever it is, you hear the word tendonitis and somebody's good, and then all of a sudden they're not good. So I don't want to play the injury speculation game because that's not a good process. But it is always in the back of your mind when it comes to Christian McCaffrey. But if he's healthy, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the thing with Christian McCaffrey and why we keep him so high is this. It's a great process play, and this is where it goes. If healthy, can we see this player finishing as the enter position 1. Can we see CMC as RB1 if he's fully healthy? Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, that is within the realm of possibilities. You can't say it's not, Tip. It is.
Bijan forever.
I'm with you on that too. I get that.
No.
But yeah,
I will die on that hill. Like, yeah.
So Tip,
yeah,
you love Bijan. You also have a value player that you are in on. Go ahead and give us your value for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's Ricky Pearsall. You're going to want to have one of these wide receivers. We know Brandon Ayuk offers, but he's just not there yet. He's not healthy, right? Juwan Jennings, yeah, other than what you said about him earlier, the only really good thing that he has to stand on is what he did in the Super Bowl a couple years back when he could have been Super Bowl MVP. So, yeah, that holds a little bit of weight. Look what I did at the biggest part of the game. But I just don't believe in Juwan Jennings. And unless he's playing the Rams, that's really other than like I don't want to have to deal with 2 games out of the season. And then I'm like, okay. But I think Ricky Pearsall, all the kid has been through, he's persevered. I like hearing stories like that. You like seeing him on the field. He is a little, nicked up right now. That's not a good thing because this kid can be utilized all over the field. He can be a Debo-esque type player. I don't think he's as strong as Debo, but he can run hard. He runs fast. He can get down the field quickly. Brock Purdy and him were starting to build a connection last year. And I think that this could be a scenario where look for Ricky Pearsall. I was looking at his ADP. It was like, I think I got him in like round 8 in one league. And with Fantasy Pros, let me pull it up right now. Oh, I'm still going down. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Fantasy Pros, he's the wide receiver 41 in ECR.
41? 41.
Yeah,
so
him and Juwan Jennings are back-to-back, 40 and 41.
Yeah, so and here they're back-to-back as well. Like, I mean, you got Deebo Samuel clustered in there. Jaden Reed. I don't know what to believe in him. I love Matthew Golden. Michael Pittman, hell no. Abukwe is a different that's a different animal right there, especially in a dynasty. But Ricky Pearsall is also young. I like Ricky Pearsall a lot in this situation. I think they have a really easy schedule too, so you got to look at that. But I think that Ricky Pearsall could be one of those guys who delivers on that ADP and gets into the low 30s, high 20s as far as value or the ADP that he returns back at the end of the season. So I really like that. I like that guy.
Yeah. He looks good in camp too, from what I can
gather. He had a little injury. I think it was in OTAs. He had a little knick-knack, like a little nicky or little nicked up injury, but then he got back. But yeah, they say that he looks good. So and I know that's only going to help Brock Purdy, and it's going to help George Kittle, and it's going to help Christian McCaffrey too. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a big thing that helps the whole team around. If they could keep Trent Williams on the field. And if he still has anything left in the tank, man, because the dude is, I know he's a behemoth, but man,
he's a brick wall.
Yeah, but we'll see.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the NFC West. But before we get out of here, go get you some Ricky Pearsall on the Fast Draft app and make sure you download it, subscribe it, and use that promo code FRAMES, which will get you a first-time deposit match of up to $50 in credits. There's the Origin game, rookie only. There's the Flex 4 game where you pick your favorite players for the upcoming season. There's D-Up, just like Flex 4, but IDP players only. 20-second timers, PPR, 6-round best ball. Perfect for that quick fix. Again, that's the promo code FRAMES. That gets you a $50 deposit match. Start drafting faster at Fast Draft. So that's it, fellas. Any final thoughts before you get out of here, Tip? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, for sure. Football guys. If you guys are gonna be at the Fantasy Football Expo, I'll be there this weekend. Nice. Excited about it. I'll be on a booth with Football Guys, so we'll be talking about Football Guys, what we got going on, our new magazine that just dropped. So please go out there and purchase that. Oddscheckers, doing content with them as well. 32-bit with the Level Up Fantasy Football Show with my guy Natter, who I was talking about earlier. And then I'm going to be doing a show in the season with the sports affiliation Shout outs to JC, Iggy, and all the great people at the Sports Affiliation. I'm going to be doing a show. It's going to be called Fantasy Nuggets. And it's basically going to be right after the 4:00 games are over and right before the Sunday night football game. It's going to be a 15-minute show with hard hits, quick thoughts, and get you geared up for the Sunday night show and for the Sunday night game and Monday night game as well. But it's going to be a 15-minute show. I'm trying to look for injury experts. If we have some of those come on and talk to us about if there's a big major injury, if we need to answer questions with that. But it's going to be cool, man. We're excited about it. I can't wait for it. And I'm excited to see some football on the field.
Dude, that sounds amazing with everything you got going on. And
I got something else, but I can't say it just yet.
Oh, we got
I can't say it just yet.
It's brewing.
Projects in the works.
Something's brewing.
It's slow boogie.
Okay.
All right. So, Tipp, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
And, guys, we will be back next Wednesday on 4th and Frames covering the NFC North. And we got one of the giants, one of the goats of the industry. Our man, Howard Bender, is going to be in the house. Recently moved to Alaska, so he got that North blood running deep in him. So we got y'all go follow Tipp at Tipp Major, Drew at Drew3MR, Kyle at KZ1180. I'm Rhett Manuel. We are 4th and Frames. Toodles.